Hi everyone, welcome back to Sonic and the Side Quest. I just got thrown for a loop because you hear 5, 4, 2, 2, and you kind of raise an eyebrow. Anyways, speaking of 2, this is a 2-day event focused on the Sonic the Hedgehog series and the speedrun categories that involve doing more than just beating the game. We're collecting Chaos Emeralds, emblems, magic doohickeys, and overall creating a good future for everyone with the speedrun community for Sonic at the helm of the action. So, I'm joined by TheSoundDefense, who is closing day 1, who closed the full event last year. Back with Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but with a different character this time. So I'm gonna go ahead, turn it over to you, TSD, and go ahead and introduce yourself and your wonderful commentators.
All right, thank you very much. My name is TheSoundDefense. I pretty much exclusively run Sonic 3 and Knuckles, exclusively gathering all the emeralds, because if you're not gathering all the emeralds, what is the point? And I am joined by 2 great co-commentators, AlecK47. Say hello.
Hello, I am AlecK47. You're going to hear my voice again tomorrow and see a much knucklier run from me tomorrow.
Thank you. Hello. And JoeyBaby, say hello.
Howdy, howdy.
All right. So, you're probably seeing something very, very strange on the screen right now, which is that I'm playing as Tails, which is not my usual character. And I have to say that since I ran this game last year, me and Tails and I, we have come to a bit of an understanding. And so I've determined that if I am allowed to control his movements, then he is allowed to come with me on the adventure. So we are going to see just how well that goes. I am not quite as well versed in all the various glitches that Tails uses, but I'm going to try my best. So let's go ahead and reset the console. And if there's nothing else here, we're going to get started.
We'll be good to go.
All right, everyone ready? Great. All right, we'll count down from, what are numbers? What's a good number? 5. Number 5. Okay, counting down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the real fun of this run is me, first off, missing my jump cues, but second of all, it's the special stages, which we're gonna see 14 of them, and here's one right now. And so we have done a lot of special stage science to figure out the fastest way to play through these. And one thing that has been a lot of use is something you just saw in action, which is the blue sphere glitch, which goes by another name that I absolutely regret coming up with that maybe you'll hear later on. But the idea is that there is a bug in how the game detects if you've made a shape in the spheres. And we can exploit this bug to make the game think that spheres on the outside of a shape are actually on the inside. And this will just turn a whole bunch of blue spheres into rings when it absolutely shouldn't, which saves us a whole lot of time, and we're going to be seeing that all over this run. And that's one special stage down.
Yeah, shoutouts to Jujimoy. He's a taster that's pretty much hit the lab in discovering all these little minor time saves that TheSoundDefense has applied to his runs.
Yeah, Jujimoy has been invaluable.
So, starting out, we're seeing relatively normal gameplay other than the application of that glitch, but both the special stages and the actual levels are going to get far more involved as the run progresses. Angel Island is the calm before the storm, just as it is with the Sonic and Tails, or Sonic Solo, whichever you prefer, run. They're actually quite similar now.
They are, surprisingly so. There are a lot of glitches that work with Sonic that don't work with Tails or don't work the same way with Tails, and so I haven't had time to adjust to every single one of them, so some glitches are going to be going a little bit by the wayside, but I promise you're going to be seeing a lot of very interesting glitches, and some of them you did not see last year when I ran this game.
Yeah, for the most part, both Sonic and Tails have relatively similar glitches. What really differentiates the two is Tails is the only character with an actual size difference, height difference, compared to Sonic and Knuckles. So his height difference does determine if some tricks do work. A few examples in at least the 80% run, which SoundDefense won't go for, is in Marble Garden, where you can perform a level wrap. The timing cues are different, but he won't be having to worry about that because he's gonna adapt different route changes, just grabbing more emeralds than usual.
Also, jumping between the red spheres is as risky, but not as hard as you might think. You get good jump cues. You have there's only one jump height in this mode, so just get your cues, hit them, and you can go through quite a lot of them, actually.
Yeah, sphere jumping is a lot easier than it seems. At one point last week, I wrote up actually a guide on how to do it. If anyone is curious about that, you can join the Sonic speedrunning Discord and find it there. But the long and short of it is that the red sphere hitboxes are vastly smaller than they look. And so jumps that look really dangerous are just vastly less dangerous than they look.
Yeah, and that kind of goes into jumping over two objects at once in special stages. So you saw him in the first special stage. He went between two of the bumpers instead of jumping over both of them. It is possible to jump over both of them, but it is very precise and much slower to just jump between them and let your momentum be reset to going backwards and then right back to forwards, only to jump over the second one.
Ah, shoot. I was trying to rocket directly into the cave, but the timing for it is kind of precise.
Yeah, fortunately there is another outcome where you can get crushed. I believe that can happen as Tails as well as with the other taller characters, correct?
I'm not sure. I haven't been crushed as Tails yet, so it might not be possible. It's hard to say.
Yeah, so fortunately you're past it, and we don't have to worry about the commentator's curse for that one in this run.
Thankfully, no. So this right here, this is the newest special stage route. It saves about a second over the previous route. But thankfully, it preserves my favorite part of all the special stages, which is right now, let's be quiet for a minute. Oh, good. That's never not scary.
Ooh, nicely done.
Yeah.
That is scary 100% of the time.
Yeah,
So,
it's one of those things where, like I said, maybe it's not as hard to jump over some of the red spheres, but if you don't, the consequences are just as bad as you think.
So, you could just turn around and, in 90-degree intervals, but, why would we do that if it's just faster to just walk backwards, even though it may save like another second or so?
Yeah, I'm saving like some fraction of a second by doing half that stage backwards. It is like the least worth it strat in speedrun history. But the swag is magnificent. I did not hit that checkpoint. I had better do this boss.
Yeah.
Not like a fire shield either.
Yeah, that's true. Oh boy. So, we may be in a little bit of trouble. We'll see if my timing is still good.
So the boss fight here, you could nail a one cycle as Robotnik exits out of the waterfall on the left side. If SoundDefense times his jump precisely and avoids the fireballs, he could nail all 8 hits before he goes inside of the waterfall. But the timing could be a little precise, but as long as he avoids getting hit, it should be fine. Nicely done.
We're good.
And you've seen the Tails flight be used rather extensively yet, and that also changes around the route for where he gets some of the emeralds over the course of the run. One other thing that is worth mentioning about it is that there's something called perfect flight, and that is not as hard as it sounds for something that is technically frame perfect, but essentially Tails can get extra height off of a flight if you initiate the flight with proper timing out of a jump. Sometimes you want that, sometimes you don't.
So right here, Sound Defense is going to time a jump towards, so right there. So that monitor that Sound Defense just bounced off of, on the very left of it, there is a red spring. So not only he gets the bounce off of it, he gets the speed off of it as well, which he'll initiates flight to fly over the top of the wall and just glide to the very end of the stage, while also getting the invincibility monitor to make easy work with this boss fight.
Yeah, this boss fight is a nightmare without invincibility. I'm so glad I taught myself this.
I say it's probably like one of the hardest stages to properly optimize with Sonic and Knuckles, but Tails doesn't have to worry about that at all.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, because it's mostly the boss, honestly, except as Knuckles, where there's a trick that we don't need to get into. Most of the stage isn't too bad, and then you get to the boss, and things are different. Also, aren't you going to run away from that?
Oh no! How could you pull that?
I probably should have done that, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, darn it.
Okay.
Oh, level rep.
Yeah. So you probably could tell that we were being disingenuous, and a lot of you have probably seen this trick in one form or another before. So the variant Tails uses is to use the wall and kind of be zipped downwards and then be able to zip and level wrap from it. Either way, he had to take a death there to load only Act 2, not Act 1 and Act 2 in the game's memory. So that's why he did that.
Yeah, and zipping to the left triggers an underflow where his X coordinates turns to a high positive number, and the game equates that to the very end of the map on the right. So Sound Defense ended up in a loopback area where as long as he positions the screen that is trying to catch up the Tails to bypass the boss's location, the boss arena, it will just warp Tails into the boss room while he was not anywhere near it, and just completely skips through the stage.
I spin dashed the wrong way. Nobody saw that.
Don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't see it, therefore it didn't happen.
All right, so I rerouted my entire Emerald route last week after a hot tip from JMC, so let's hope I remember everything. But this is one of the newest additions. I'm getting 2 Emeralds in Marble Garden and 0 in Hydra City. And this special stage has one trick that everyone really likes at the very end, so we'll point that out when it happens.
Yeah, if you recall when we talked about the bug that affects which blue spheres are counted as being inside of a shape when you clear them all and turn them into rings, well, part of that glitch has to do with it effectively breaks the detection so that it just keeps going until all contiguous blue spheres around it are turned into rings or collected. And so in that case, that very large thing in the center can be collected much quicker by just using that glitch on it.
Yeah, there were 44 blue spheres in that whole area, and was all cleared out with only collecting 9 of them, or so. It's absolutely faster than just getting them all individually.
1, 2, 3. Right now, I'm just swagging right now. I'm just jumping into red spheres and surviving because I can.
Sir, I saw you turn on a red sphere. Like, stop this.
You did see that. In fact, it's weird. There is, like, a damage hitbox for the red spheres, and there's also, like, a turning hitbox, and the turning hitbox is actually larger. So I jumped in such a way that I positioned myself so I could turn, but not actually get hurt.
Yeah, I think it's very much intentional for that positioning to be possible. I just don't think the developers really thought anyone would go through the trouble of being that precise about it. But
to be fair, no one but me has gone to the trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where from a design perspective, it makes sense to allow you to jump a little bit closer to the spheres, just, you know, for a playability sake.
Yeah, there's more that goes into the design of special stages than it would seem.
So it's on the
right
fence
now
with
I'm
it,
doing.
Go
ahead.
Yeah, so right there, by holding down a screen in specific levels, which are infinitely vertical scrolling levels, Marble Garden being one of them. If you hold down the screen to pan the screen down and jump, you make the game get confused, and it wraps vertically one single time. And when the screen is off-centered of objects, they're technically deloaded. So when SoundDefense jumped and spin dash to the right, he's positioned bypass a spring, and when the screen comes back, the spring reloads and it puts SoundDefense through a wall, and you can just clip through the right side and skip a good portion of the stage.
Yeah.
It's not the only time we'll be seeing that either.
One of the nice things about having to do Marble Garden a bit more normally than the Sonic or Knuckles runs is that he is able to collect a couple of those emeralds in Act 1. The reason it doesn't work to do the same strat as Knuckles and Sonic is because of Tails' height. So the stuff that you would have to do in the loot back area to kill the boss and then activate the end of the level just does not work the same. So instead, we do a level wrap to get over to Knuckles' boss by spin dashing from that slope, which is pretty precise, but as you can see, very much possible to do.
Oh my gosh, I hate this boss so much. This boss's hitbox is the absolute wonkiest thing in the game.
Yeah, this fight is actually like probably one of the worst. And it doesn't make it better that Tails' flight hitbox, like his actual propeller Tails as a hitbox to damage enemies is, I swear they're like a pixel wide or something, because they seem to always trade or you lose the exchange. I don't understand it.
Like, this boss, and particularly that version of it, just has so many hitboxes flying around that it can be really tricky to get in there correctly.
I was trying for 3 cycles. I ended up with 4, which is a lot better than dying, which is what I often do. Alright, so now it's time for more glitches. Who wants to explain a wheel glitch?
Yeah, so wheel glitch, you're gonna see SoundDefense just graze his head on the wheel there and immediately land on an object that basically transfers the properties of the wheel outside of the wheel. So normally the wheel always gravitates you towards the center of the wheel. So wherever Tails is standing on or where he's trying to stand on, gravity just shifts really far beneath his feet. And by that, it triggers a level wrap by going so fast to the left boundary. And basically, SoundDefense spin dashes higher up to trigger the boss arena, gets into the arena, and just jumps out of wheel glitch to just get into the fight.
Yeah, the fight is significantly faster if you jump out of wheel glitch, but in the in other versions of the run, you want to maintain wheel glitch going into Act 2. Fortunately, you don't have to do it here.
Well, I could, but
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. It's really precise, and the soft lock potential is kind of high, so I said, I'll learn this later.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's one of those tricks that could easily go wrong, because the glitch route for Act 2, you would have to fly upwards a ceiling, and the soft lock chance is there. It does exist. So I guess it's just for the time being, it's not worth having to put that kind of trick into the run.
Yeah,
I'll be coming back to this run another time.
Even people who do really amazing things have to learn one trick at a time sometimes.
Yes, I tried learning this game by learning all the tricks at once, and that was an absolutely miserable experience. Don't do what I did.
Yeah, that sounds like a mistake.
Don't do what Donnie Don't does.
It's always important to learn at a pace that's comfortable for you.
If you're not comfortable
it's not
with,
a race.
Yeah, if you're not comfortable with what's in the run, then you're not going to be able to do it as well as you would like.
The learning experience of a speedrun is not a race, unless the run itself is a race, but, you know.
We do things like that sometimes, but, like, we do that intentionally, knowing that it's not going to be optimal.
Right. So I just avoided an obscure soft lock. If Tails starts flying in that one area with the balloons and the bumpers, that's a soft lock. You actually can't escape that. I've gotten stuck there multiple times. It's a horrible experience.
Yeah, when you're in flight mode, you pretty much can't do anything until you at least land back to the floor. But the area that TheSoundDefense is referring to is the area where all the bumpers are just gathered with each other, with all the balloons. You can get yourself locked in a position where you're just stuck in a tired mode, where, you know, when Tails is flying for too long, and you get like looped, getting hit by 2 different bumpers back and forth, and you can't do anything about it but reset the game.
Or wait for a time over, I guess. But resetting is faster all the time.
Yeah, I guess that's an option too, yeah.
How did I not make that jump? That looked perfect. I'm blaming this on everyone but myself.
I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Usually you stick to the second candy cane thing that he went through instead. So he went through it, and instead of going immediately to the path that took him here, he had to backtrack a little bit, so just an annoying little time loss.
Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah, what gives you that jump is really ambiguous. It seems like it works most of the time, but then sometimes it just doesn't. It's a jump that could just not work at times.
Oh no. Oh, this is bad. Oh boy.
Yeah, so you want to get the kill before this attack happens. It's trickier as Tails because he can't get hits quite as fast as Sonic with the insta-shield. And unfortunately, the lightning ball also got tossed off to the right, where he couldn't reach the boss. And, yeah.
I say
that was very embarrassing.
I say it's one of the hardest fights to optimize for Tails. His Tails hitbox just shows how just unreliable it is sometimes. You can hit straight to the center, and sometimes you still get hit.
I thought you had soft locked for a second.
No, fortunately not.
I'm not gonna lie.
Then he did a quick reset because for some levels it is faster to reset and go through the menu instead, right after the game auto saves your progress. So now we're getting into the second to last blue sphere stage, I believe, assuming I can count.
For now.
Yeah.
For now.
Of the Sonic 3 portion of this game.
Yeah, this one is nice and chill. There's no demanding jumps that I have to make. I just have to memorize a kind of obscure route. As long as I remember what I'm doing, there's no big problem, so... So I'm just gonna take a minute and calm myself.
Got it.
Thank you. I sure hope so. I've got my splits open right now because this is not the most optimized run in the Sonic category, and there's a decent chance I can beat my PB. Especially because I just relearned monitor clip about 3 hours ago.
Nice.
So if I get that, that's like a minute saved. So
monitor clip is significantly later. Yeah, we'll talk about that when it comes up.
Yeah, I'll report back at the end of this run to see if it's a PB. So that was the second to last Chaos Emerald. Oh, ow. And now it's the last Chaos Emerald. Then we'll have a tiny, tiny break. No. Okay, so
it was important.
That's kind of a precise jump there.
It was also important that he flew up there because he does not want the objects below to be broken.
Do objects remain broken after a special stage? I'm not even sure.
I have no idea.
I mean, I guess you let's not risk and find out now.
Yeah, I don't remember. So it's one of those things that if you don't know for sure, you don't risk. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, hold on. Okay, that was a scary jump that I actually failed last year, and I'm glad that went off more easily this time. Okay, and now I'm tired of ice cap, so let's just get out of here.
Yeah, so on the fence has all the emeralds, but no super yet. But now is gonna make quick work of this stage by holding left at that certain point. When the platform deloads, you off your feet, you can enable slope glitch, and that allows him to just transfer the angle that Tails is walking on to even face through solid ground, which is literally what you just saw there. And he'll reach to Knuckles' corridor and a level wrap in that section there. Enter into a loop back, and now he's maneuvering without doing specific inputs to maneuver himself to reach the launch base boss loading zone. So there is remnants of Act 2 still loaded in this zone. So obviously he's still in Act 1, but Act 2 is still in the present in this level. So as long as he just barely squeezes into this little hole here, right there, and just goes straight into launch base zone.
Now that does not count as beating the level for purposes of autosaves. So basically he has to avoid a game over here, but even if he does have to go back, he would have the emerald still.
Hello, bird?
So
Where's...
So what he's doing here is a manipulation to get this flybot to follow him down and hit him at a specific point. What that's going to do is it's going to allow him to, with the camera panned up, fall onto those spikes. Except the spikes won't load until he is already within their hitbox, allowing him to trigger a level wrap. Unfortunately, well...
Yeah, the flybot can be really stubborn. Like, any micro movements, he could just be like, I don't feel like following me anymore.
Attempt number 3. It's okay, I have a backup save for exactly this reason. Here we go.
First try.
All right, so that's the easy part done.
Yeah, this part, we'll explain what happens after, but I think it's best that give him some peace and quiet just for this boss to just go smoothly.
Yep, I am gonna focus for like a half a minute here. 'Cause if this boss doesn't cooperate, then I have to improvise, and that's the one thing I'm worst at. So far, so good. One more knockback, please. Okay, I think we're in good shape, but let's just make sure. Okay, so I've just set myself up for an awesome skip. That's gonna happen as soon as the score counter is done counting down. So here we go.
Nicely
Perfect.
done. So, okay. So that boss fight, right, that SoundDefense just defeated, that is the Knuckles boss fight. So you normally would only fight 2 of them when you're Knuckles, but the game is coded to just have the boss of Act 1 just be all you need to require Act 1 to be defeated. So leaving 1 alive for Act 2 and killing the second one in Act 2, the game just considers Act 2 completed, even though you've only been in Act 2 for more than 2 seconds. And right into Mushroom Hill Zone.
I've never seen that version of that skip done.
It's a lot easier than
It's-
Sonic's version because you don't have to get slow glitch. Tails can instead just fly
Yeah.
up there, but you don't have insta-shield for the boss fight. So that in turn makes it harder. I guess which is harder, which is easier is personal preference. Like either you have a frame perfect trick you have to do and then some difficult stuff, or you have a difficult boss fight and then some difficult stuff.
And one thing really important there is that I ended the level with 1 ring, because there is a very brief period of time when the second act starts where I can control Tails, but they haven't taken away my ring. So I use that to damage boost and not die, which is how I actually managed to destroy the boss.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have the second half of the special stages, and we're starting with the hardest one in the entire game. So I'm just going to ask for focus time here, because if I screw this up at any point, it's bad. Oh, thank goodness.
Whew.
Nicely done.
If I make any of those backwards turns wrong, we're just done. That's it. All right, so now, thankfully, the difficulty is all downhill from here, but the fun does not have to end. I think since I ran this last year, every special stage except for one got rerouted. Like, JoeyBaby reached out to me and says, hey, you like to swag. Would you like to swag more? And I said yes. And so we've been collaborating since then, and he's been an invaluable resource. These special stage strats, compared to the old All Emeralds World Record, I think they save 45 seconds altogether, which is a lot.
In a run that's been overall, like, I'm talking like Sonic and Tails category as well, in a run that has been as optimized as it has at this point, like 45 seconds.
Very, very much so. Alright, so this is a special stage that's not very difficult, but it looks like a lot of fun. I get to jump in just the right way that I can make this backwards pinpoint turn on these yellow spheres. So if you jump into a yellow sphere at just the right point, you actually get to turn before it launches you. And so you can get launched in unintended directions, which is a nice time save. And it just so happens that this level is like perfectly set up to make it a lot easier than it should be. So I get to show off, and it's much less dangerous than it looks.
Also, I think a bit easier to navigate because that's one of those stages where you can just kind of get lost in if you're not perfectly aware of its layout.
Oh goodness, yes. This stage and the 7th Chaos Emerald stage, if I'm playing casually, I don't know where I'm going. I can only speedrun them. Yeah, Mushroom Hill is going to be very dense with special stages. I'm getting all 7 Super Emeralds in this stage. And then from there... No, you know what? No, things never calm down. What am I talking about?
Yeah, I mean, they aren't always hard, but they're always fast.
There is one point in the 5th special stage I did where I jumped on that red sphere. I actually lose a half second doing that compared to the optimal route, but the swag is worth it.
Only a half second? Yeah, absolutely.
I can respect it.
100%. Yeah, this stage is not particularly noteworthy except for its absolutely terrible color palette. And like this is just like a vomit green we've got going on the floor. It's horrible to look at.
Yeah, I would say it's like Barney and Baby Bop colors, but Baby Bop was a vibrant green, and even Barney's like stomach is vibrant green. Oh, yeah, I don't know what they thought with this one.
How long has it been since I thought of Barney and Baby Bop?
Maybe 5 seconds ago.
But yeah, it's like hot fuchsia, and then you have that puke green color.
Yeah, like pea soup green.
Oh man,
It's
I did not
baby
get the-
food.
So he tried
if
to
I jump right, I can.
Yeah, he tried to clip through that relatively small kind of path there, which he instead got past by going up a bit farther and path swapping around.
Yeah, that's one trick that is easier with Sonic that's just inexplicably harder with Tails. Also, give me 1 minute here. Okay, I failed that jump in practice, so I just wanted to make sure. Also, let's... Okay, now we're good. Now we can talk again.
I'm always hesitant to speak in these sections because I don't know what's a quiet moment, what's not. Everything just seems like a risk.
I will let you know when there are quiet moments, but there are almost no quiet moments remaining at this point. There's one bad jump coming up, and then the rest is relatively... Actually, you know what? I'm lying. I'll just tell you. Alright, so that's it for Act 1, and ouch, we're coming up on the mini-boss, which is way harder without an insta-shield. You never realize how much you love an insta-shield until it's taken away from you.
Mm-hmm. The insta-shield that Sonic has is just so great. It ended up being legitimately why... There we go. It ended up legitimately being why I learned the Sonic run first for this game, because I was trying to do bosses as Tails and as Knuckles, and it was frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
Insta-shield's real. I can make a novel of how hard Red Eye is with Sonic, but then I played Tails, and everything was infinitely worse. But we'll see that in a bit later.
Well, I mean, in my case, it's going to be infinitely better, because I'm not going to be playing it.
Oh yeah, Emeralds, yeah. The easy strat. Oh yeah.
All right, give me a second here to just show off. All right, if I did those correctly, I may have saved a handful of frames, but it did look cool, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, a handful of frames.
Yeah, like I said, this run is not very optimized. I'm pretty sure it can be pushed below 1 hour if I add more tricks to it, or if Aisukasune adds more tricks to it, who is the only other person who runs this category.
Hard run in a hard game. It's a formula for not having many runners.
Yeah, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is just, it's a punishing speedrun. If you can drop one input and lose multiple minutes and basically kill a run.
Easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in many places.
You can't be an S3K runner if your first run-throughs of this game hasn't gotten you back to previous stages over and over again. Looking at you, Marble Garden and Ice Cap.
Yeah.
Yep. Like this of the classic trilogy of Sonic 1, 2, and Knuckles. This is definitely most volatile of the.
Without any question at all. Oh my gosh. Like there are many tricks that I could have learned for this particular event, but just the danger of destroying the run was high enough that I shied away from it.
The reason he's doing this Emerald stage last is not just because of the fact that it's not very hard and it's nice to have an easy one as your last one.
Well, this isn't the last one yet.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, because the middle one is the last one. I was
Yes.
jumping ahead of myself here.
He's a page ahead in the script.
Yeah.
It's fine. I am gonna do one silly jump though, real quick. That saves a tiny amount of time.
About a second.
Yeah, it's not much. All of these individual things are not much. Taken all together, they add up to a lot.
Yeah, his death in the list, but hey, it saves frames, eh?
That's how I roll. So yeah, that emerald in the center there, that is the last one we do, as he was saying, because once I get the final emerald, there will be a brief cutscene of the Master Emerald activating. And if you are not dead center in that area, the camera will very slowly pan over to that area, and you can lose up to 4 seconds by my watch. So we'll just end in the middle and not lose any time. Beyond that, you can do the special stages in whatever order you like. It's not important. Oops, I forgot to split. Yeah, you can talk now. This is not a difficult stage.
So this one, there's a lot of open space, and it's just a matter of knowing where to go when, as much as anything else. It's one of those ones where if you don't have a set route, you can often find yourself just running around in circles, trying to find the last little few blue spheres that you need to get.
Yeah, this stage is actually routed in a really particular way in order to allow some of the tight turns you saw. As it turns out, how quickly you can turn after a jump is partially dependent on the previous turn that you made. I don't fully understand why. Special stages are kind of mysterious. Yeah, now I have all the emeralds, and now Tails can finally evolve into Super Tails.
No hyper, sad.
No hyper, I'm afraid. So I'm already predicting some people. Oh man, yes, I got it. Look at
What
this.
the heck?
The flickies are broken.
Oh god, the glitch death flickies.
This can happen sometimes. I don't know why, but it's great.
They're like floating chicken nuggets. It's beautiful.
Floating chicken nuggets.
Anyway, like I was saying, there are probably people in the chat saying that Tails is going Super Saiyan. I'm going to preempt all that by saying he is going Super Saiyan. In fact, during the development of Sonic 2, series creator Yuji Naka wanted to pay homage to what he thought were the greatest media franchises of the East and West. From the West, it was Star Wars, and so he made the Death Egg. And from the East, it was Dragon Ball, and so he made Super Sonic. So he's literally going Super Saiyan. That is, in fact, what's going on. Mm-hmm. And now you know.
Additionally, you saw those flickies. They will actually kind of home in on enemies and bosses even. But right now, he is setting up a glitch that we call as intended. So by spin dashing there, what he did was get off the top of the screen in such a way that he activated slope glitch and also kind of had a huge spin dash that allowed him to keep the properties that let you go in and out of the mesh cylinder. So that's why he's able to just go through walls and, just go right to the end of the stage.
Yeah, and there's nothing else weird going on here at the moment.
Nothing at all.
Alright, so I was debating top route and bottom route for the next stage, and I'm going to go top route because I don't want to die and restart the stage entirely.
Yeah, that's fair.
So at the end of this fight, he's going to position Tails on the very right of this capsule. Capsule's going to deload, or at least the boss fight is going to deload, and it'll have Tails just fly with, just standing with slope glitch. Retrigger slope glitch for this next glitch coming up.
We've mentioned slope glitch a few times, and it's basically if you're on a sprite object while it is deloaded from memory, you get in this state. And we call it slope glitch because you follow slopes. And so he's going to fly up here. He does not want to interact with any sprite-based objects, so it is important that he does not hit one of those springs, for example.
Actually, give me just a second here.
Sure.
Okay, now we're good. Now I just need to make sure I don't go too fast.
So yeah, he was able to use slope glitch to initiate essentially a zip that also put him up on top of the stage. So now you can see he was running across the stage, and he's right at the final boss. The game hasn't quite caught up yet, as you can see by those clouds that don't really look like clouds, and the fact that he's in space. There's the skybox catching up, and so You can also hear the kind of mini boss of this level with the lasers happening, doing its little auto scroller thingy while the platform is just coming into view right on cue. Those glitchy sprites in the background are going to go away in a second once the...
Actually, they're not.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, I think they're here to stay.
Is that a Tails?
Okay, so this is... I don't know. Don't know. Oh my god. Okay.
Oh,
we're good.
that was looking a little close.
Yeah.
That was sketchy.
Like, why are you
Everything's fine.
That's the last hit. Why is he going back to the center? Oh god.
Yeah, so those little spikes on the tip of that fight, it's still active even after you got the final hit, which is really peculiar because the ball in Carnival Night 2 doesn't have that, so it's really weird. But yeah, you can still die after defeating the boss there.
All right. My success rate with this right now is not very... Okay, never mind.
Looks good. Looks good to me.
If you don't mind being a little bit slower, you can also just go to a specific spot, fly up, and then press right as you touch the ceiling there. That is one of the easier level wraps in the game.
Yeah, for some reason, that has been giving me lots of trouble all weeks. I failed it like 5 times earlier, so I'm glad that went well.
Even the easiest tricks can give you grief.
They can. There's basically a 4-step process for learning a glitch. Step 1, you're just learning the glitch. It's almost impossible to do. Step 2, you get in a sort of groove, and it becomes a lot easier to do. Step 3 is you start to regress a little bit as you take inputs for granted, and you have to figure out what went wrong. And then Step 4 is true mastery of the glitch. And spoilers, you never actually hit Step 4.
Pretty much.
A very exciting part of the run currently right now. 40 seconds of standing still. It's very good.
All right, my pace now is actually really good. If I can get monitor clip, we're sitting pretty. So Sando 2, it goes a lot faster as Sonic, because with Sonic I actually know how to do loop clip. With Tails, it's much more difficult to actually pull off, so I'll learn that another day, and I'll do a subset of the glitches for now. Tails get up there.
Sanopolis 2 is a very cycle-heavy stage. You can lose upwards of like increments of 6 seconds per cycle. So it's important to like try your best to make these platform cycles. So because 6 seconds is a decent check on time to lose for minor mistakes.
And he did a screen wrap to deload some of those sprite-based objects and just spin dash through them, skipping a gate. Those subpixels are hilariously consistent as long as you do a full jump and then hold left against the wall. Full jump from flat ground specifically. This is the loop.
You can do that like at home.
Yeah, loop flip would have happened in that loop if he were going for it. Instead, we're going to see him do a slightly different strategy. So this section, he does not want to break that sand fall. That is because the latter part of this is dependent on navigating in places that the sand would be in the way of. And that's going to happen coming up in a moment here. So if he had Hyper or Super Tails right there, the flickies would have broken that. That is why he took damage.
Right. Otherwise, it would be just guaranteed that I go Super Tails, and then the glitch becomes impossible. This cycle isn't good. I'm gonna have to... Oh, I should have just immediately jumped. That was perfectly set up, and I didn't trust it.
So again, doing a screen wrap here to get that cylinder off the screen, and then he can jump down here, do a zip, and skip the last little bit of that sandfall section. It saves a nice little chunk of time.
Yeah, if I had done the loop clip, it would have put me like directly into there, and I wouldn't have had to do a lot more of the level. Oh, shoot.
So he's taking a very specific route here. You'll see why in a bit. So this route is it's kind of a newish thing. used to be used for the hypersonic route because this was just the more optimal way to take hypersonic. But Tails can take this route too, and for a very specific reason coming up when he gets to the boss fight here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The boss fight is not quite as easy as Tails as it is with Sonic, but still goes very nicely, a lot more easily with what we're setting up. And I also have to make sure I make the ghosts go away, because things are about to get a little weird. Ouch. That's fine.
So, you might be wondering where the rest of the boss is, and you would be right to wonder that. Also, why are the ghosts red, and why is all of this so glitchy? Well, that's because he made an object load in a particular part in the game's memory, and that messed with the way everything loaded, and caused the boss's kind of protective thing to not even spawn. And it also messed with the loading of some other things, which is why you had all those graphical glitches as well.
Yeah, that is the specific route that we were taking earlier. It bypasses some trigger or other that makes the boss fight work. I don't fully understand it, but I do enjoy it. So Lava Reef, pretty straightforward. I'm really bad at stair clip, and I'm also really bad at Tails elevator clip. So I'm just gonna play through this level, normally up until a certain point. And I lost my fire shield, so now I have to be more careful, which is my least favorite thing. Okay. I would prefer not to lose my rings right here, but if I do, it's not a problem. Okay, you know what, we're good. I'm just gonna pick up this extra big ring just to make sure I can be Super Tails for the rest of this stage. Invincibility and significant speed boosts make a lot of things easier, as it turns out. Yeah, otherwise this level is pretty normal right up until the end. Whoops, I should not have flown there. Like, you would think that we would fly a bit more as Tails, having it be his, like, defining feature, but flying is actually really slow. Like, horribly slow. So I try to avoid it unless it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah, flight in a speedrun like setting, their uses are very limited. It does have its uses in reaching higher spots, but you know, just flying in general, you know, after a while it does goes very slowly, and landing takes a while. So it actually is just better to minimize as much flying as you can if you can help it. Because flying is never fast in almost any given context, unless you couldn't get to a certain spot in any other way.
Flicky's helping out nicely there.
They're now going to try and kill me. Mm-hmm. For Pete's sake, Flickies.
So, Tails is short enough that
Actually, give me just a second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try monitor clip. Ah, too early.
By like 1 frame.
Yeah, that looked like 1 frame off.
Sorry, that would have been a huge time save.
So he was trying to get that box to clip him into the ground there. It's easier as Tails than it is with the taller characters, but that doesn't mean it's free by any means. You have to have precise timing. Even so, you just don't have to do a spin and also have your momentum reach reach 0.
That was scary.
So
yeah, with Sonic, that trick's nearly impossible. I don't know how JoeyBaby ever pulls it off.
Pray.
Yeah.
Very carefully.
Trust the method and pray. That's all you can do sometimes.
It's like multiple frame perfect inputs required.
But it would have gotten him.
Tails.
It would have gotten him to pretty close to the end of the level, and that would have been obviously a nice time save. But hard tricks are hard, and they don't always work as for what I was saying, the reason the Flickies are trying to kill him is that because Tails is shorter than the other characters, he can't stand inside that boss's hitbox. He will get crushed. So that's fun.
All right, so we're now coming up on the Q&A portion of the run. I cannot do this boss skip as Tails for the life of me. I've tried many times. The only thing I've done is hurt my wrist. So instead, we're going to go through a 2-minute auto-scroller, and if there's any questions in chat, let's answer them.
I just want to point out that someone in chat was like, what are those Pikachu fishes? And I am now calling the Super Flickies Pikachu fishes for the rest of my life.
That's a new
Oh
one.
my god.
So thank you, person in chat. Like, they are Flickies, they are golden, and they are Flickies of death. Just to answer your question. But Pikachu fishes, I like that better.
Okay, so I suppose I will briefly mention why this trick is, the trick that he's not doing is significantly harder as Tails. It has to do with the way that, you would normally do it with Sonic. It involves initiating a zip with Sonic, right? And that gives you a lot of speed and allows you to do the first of 2 object phase clips for free, basically. What an object phase clip is takes advantage of when you are spin dashing and the camera pan. So you get a certain specific distance away from an object. You do a full spin dash. It has to be a perfect or near perfect spin dash, depending on the object and the slope. And then you do, upon doing that spin dash into it, you do 2 very fast 1-tap spin dashes. So those are precise inputs to begin with. And they also have to be, like I said, very fast. The first of those 1-tap spin dashes pans the camera, deloading the sprite-based object you're trying to phase through. And the second one gets you through it. There's an additional factor, which means you have to kind of manipulate the camera as Tails on a platform that will crumble, and then do that perfect spin dash, followed by the 2 1-taps. It's actually hard, like actually really hard.
Really hard.
It's a very high execution base level little trick you have to do, at least like in terms of optimizing Lava 2. And if it wasn't enough just doing the hard trick, every failure after that, you just have to do it again and again and again. You know, it kind of wanes on your stamina. And
yeah, especially because it does require that initial perfect spin dash, which isn't necessarily the easiest thing to get anyway.
Anyway, that's the end of our Q&A period, so thank you everyone for the questions. No, for real though, I did see 2 questions. I saw 3 questions in chat. One is Sonic Curry authorized by Sega? I'm gonna guess that it is, because that's a very Sega thing to do. It is, that's what I thought.
Yeah. I know another that I saw, I don't know if you saw it, was how long have you been running this game?
Yes, I did see that. I started running this in March 2017, and I was prone to putting it down for very long periods of time. And I would like try and dust it off for each STDQ. Obviously, this did not work out. But I started running this like every single week, starting in March of 2020. So, like technically 4 years, but I've really only been focused on it for a little over a year. Someone else asked, who is best hedgehog? I think I gotta say Sonic. The other hedgehogs are they got flaws. Someone asked, favorite soundtrack? Definitely this game, by far. Anyway, 2 Slinkies is pretty good. Thing I was doing on stairs, we call that a Slinky. It does absolutely nothing for the run, but it supposedly brings good luck.
Yeah. And so this stage has some weird programming in it. There are foreground layers, background layers, and the way you kind of go up the stage and the way the game handles it is a bit idiosyncratic. And we're able to take advantage of that by using a screen wrap coming up in a moment here. And what this is going to do is kind of change what is loaded, because suddenly he's at the top of the screen according to the game. And that means the top of the level is loaded, which allows him to just go right over there and head up to the boss.
Yeah, the top of the level is actually at the very bottom of the level map. One of the transporters, it just takes you all the way to the bottom of the map, and you don't notice it's happening. So by jumping there, I'm going to the bottom of the stage, but due to trickery, it's actually at the end. So I skipped like 2 mini-bosses and 3/4 of the stage.
Yeah, and he had to do the screen wrap because otherwise there would have been a death claim there. Skipping a long cutscene there.
I don't think I'm... Yeah, that's a very long cutscene. I think it's the longest in the game. I'm trying to wonder if I missed a split somewhere, because I am like a minute 30 ahead of my PB right now, and I'm kind of incredulous about that.
Well, hey, only one way to find out, right?
Yeah, just keep going. And for what it's worth, I am the current world record holder in this category, so if nothing disastrous happens, this could be a new world record. So we'll find out in 2 acts from now. I definitely shouldn't have said anything. I've now cursed myself. But it doesn't matter. I'm excited and I want chat to be hype. So chat, please get hype. I need your hype. Alright, so Death Egg, this is a very nice Tails only route that shaves a huge amount of time off of the overall level. So that's what I do instead of doing difficult glitches. I just do that route. No crush. We're doing okay so far.
God,
So
those
now...
cookies even have red cheeks. I'm still on Pikachu fishes. I'm sorry.
Only at the lightning shield it would have been complete.
Exactly.
Alright, so this is Red Eye. In some categories, this is a very hard boss. In this category, it's not. I'm just gonna sort of hang out in his hitbox for a little bit. And if I ever fall out of his hitbox, the flickies are more than happy to do damage for me, like right there.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so there is the next act. There is a major skip for Tails, but I've only learned the first half of it, and if I do it wrong, it's a soft lock, so I'm not gonna try it. So we're just gonna race very quickly through this, through this stage. It's fine, I didn't need that.
Yeah, the level wrap for Death Egg 2 requires flipping through a wall upside down, you know, with this game, this level's main gimmick of having gravity become this way. And level wrapping and trying to position the screen and Tails to a certain position when it reaches the boss area. Very high risk of soft locking, and considering this is Act 2 of the zone, soft locking will require a reset, and you have to play out Act 1 all over again.
Yep, and I have no interest in doing that.
Yeah, this is not my favorite final zone of a Sonic game that goes to Titanic Monarch, so if this were Titanic Monarch, oh sure, I'll play Act 1 again, I like that. Death Egg, not so much.
Yeah, Titanic Monarch
Music
is a fun stage.
Someone in chat asked, would it be a world record if I missed the clip from the sign drop? I did miss the clip from the sign drop. I assume he's referring to
Monitor
Lava
clip.
Reef.
Yeah, and that would make it, I think, much more likely, at least.
That's like another minute saved.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been a super awesome world record in that case. One I could almost certainly not screw up. Here we're still in danger of me being like the world's biggest idiot and ruining everything. I don't know, I like my chances though. But there is still one glitch that if I do it wrong, could kill me, could really put a dent in my plans, and I'm going to do it anyway, because stream value is what's important here.
I know which one it is, and yeah. It's always a fun way to finish out the run.
Like I said, swag is everything. I will lose time for swag. I've done it before, and I'll do it again. Alright, so I don't have enough rings right now to maintain Super Tails throughout this entire boss fight, but that's fine. I'm still going to have a shield when I get out of here. And these flickies, they are trying their best right now.
They really are.
Ding, 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 ding,
Trying
ding.
to attack him, but he's not making a dent.
Why isn't it working?
The Pikachu fishes are trying to fight a ground type that somehow has levitate. It's fine.
Yeah, it'll probably have to be ground steel fly with levitate.
Oh, there they go. They got tired of trying and now they left. Does Super Tails go to Doomsday? No, Super Tails does not go to Doomsday. So this run is going to end when the fade to white after the boss fight.
So
Time.
You may have noticed him doing a spin dash off the edge of the screen there. And that set up the glitch that he was mentioning. At this point, when he's fighting the fingers, he has to make sure that he does not go too far right on the ground. Fortunately, Tails can fly, so if he notices that he's going too far, he can save himself, like so. But the reason he can't go too far right is because the level is not loaded properly. And everything underneath his feet is actually left of where it appears to be. Hence why he was able to just spin dash inside of the boss's hitbox right there.
Yep, so it makes the fight more dangerous, but also it lets us do that very quick kill. So now I just need to not fly here like a dingus, and I think we're good to go. So time is coming up on fade to white. All right, and time.
GG.
GG.
104-14. Okay, so now we have to talk about how this game is timed. We do not time this game with RTA. We time it with real-time minus time bonuses, which means that whenever the time bonus is counting down on the score screen, we pause the timer. We have a plugin that does it automatically. The reason we decided on this is because time bonuses can be up to 12 seconds RTA, which means there'd be some scenarios where you would have to slow Sonic down to avoid a huge RTA loss, and so this was our sort of compromise. And we can't use IGT either, because there are lots of times where the in-game timer is stopped, but you can still control how fast the run goes. So that is the timing method we use. So my world record for RTA minus TB was 104.30. The RTA here is 104.14, and the actual new record is 103.08. So that's about a minute and a half off of the previous record.
Nicely done.
No, your splits weren't lying.
And that's without a monitor clip. So.
Yeah. Like that's pretty sick. That was a sick run.
That went incredibly well. I am super happy with like every part of that except for the monitor clip. That's fine because I only learned it 3 hours ago.
But no, seriously, congrats on beating your PB/world record.
Thank you very much.
So, you had something else you wanted to show us since we had the time and you're the last run of day one.
There is, yes. So I was really sad that I was going to go through all the trouble of collecting all 14 Chaos Emeralds, and we don't even get to see the final level, because only Sonic goes to the final level. But since we have just beat our estimate by like 11 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and reset, and we are going to check out the final level of the run, the Doomsday Zone. So right here. So this is what happens if you beat the game as Sonic and you have at least the 7 Chaos Emeralds. You go into this extra level, which is hypersonic or supersonic flying through space. And we're chasing after the Master Emerald to take it back from Robotnik. And so it's not, there are no glitches in this level. The trick here is in being able to maintain a high ring count while also not slowing down too much, which basically required me to memorize a good portion of the ring layout so I know exactly where to go. And I also learned, just while learning to speedrun this, that if you just press the A button, you shoot forward a little bit. I really would have liked to know that as a kid, and I didn't.
Same. I think I learned that... Oh man, I'm trying to remember exactly when I learned it, but I was well into my 20s, and I had already done speedruns of this game.
Right? It's never explained to you anywhere. Anyway, Robotnik is hitting us. Go ahead.
I'm still surprised every time you tell me that you did not know, and you had somehow beat him without boosting.
Oh yeah, so did I.
It takes much, much longer.
A lot longer and a lot more rings in the lead up.
Oh yeah, you've basically just collect every single ring you can because you're gonna need all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, I have more than enough rings to finish this guy off, so I'm just gonna mash A until the game stops. I think it's this. Yes, it is. There we go. Now I can feel at peace. I've completed the Doomsday Zone.
GG's again.
GG.
GG indeed. In fact, like, I think you can glitch Tails and Knuckles into the zone, or you can hack them into the zone. I don't remember, but it looks pretty ridiculous. A similar thing happens in Sonic Time Twisted. You can glitch Tails and Knuckles into the equivalent, like the Doomsday equivalent of that game, and it looks absurd because they're in just the regular running animation, and it ain't right.
Oh, that would look really weird, like as Knuckles, because he's got like the cartoon bongo feet going on.
Yeah, he's got like the like Knuckles in particular looks ridiculous because in Time Twisted he like rotates his arms and like, because his ability when he's running at full speed is he can just run into enemies and not care. Because he's spinning his fists like it's Sonic Underground, and you know, those really awful screenshots and GIFs that you often. But seriously, no, this game is great. You're a fantastic runner of it, especially of these categories.
Thank you very much.
But do y'all have any shout outs? It is the last run of the night. We have a whole other day ahead of us.
Let's see, AlecK, do you have any shout outs? I'll start with you.
I just have to say shout outs to the Pikachu fish. They are a really underrated part of this game and this run.
JoeyBaby.
Of course, I gotta give the shout out to, you know, you TheSoundDefense, Amber, AlecK, everyone who's have done wonders of this event, who's done runs of the event, the community as a whole, the entire Sonic speedrun community, everyone for watching. You know, it's nice to see everyone come together and see these games get beaten the way they do, and everyone just compiling strats, you know, making the runs they are today. It's really nice to see.
Amen to that.
Absolutely. So, as for me, I want to shout out, of course, everyone who's working on this event, Amber for putting this together, JoeyBaby for all of his special stage wizardry, the whole Sonic speedrunning community for being super awesome and helpful and welcoming. It's a great place. And I also want to shout out my nephew, who is 3 days old as of today.
Aww.
That's right, that came to us Wednesday, and we're all very happy about it.
Awesome.
Congratulations to you and yours on the new babby.
Thank you very much.
We have a whole other day ahead of us. AlecK is actually running something tomorrow, Sonic 2 and Knuckles. No major glitches,
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken. Yep.
Yeah, that's. I'll explain more, but that's a fun run. I'm having fun with it. It's a lot more chill than this, for sure.
Oh yeah. And I think tomorrow we kick off with TGH running Sonic 3D Blast Best Ending, which he recently took the world record in and has helped to further optimize that run since last time it's been showcased. So definitely looking forward to that. But I have a few announcements before we head to a break to find someone to raid. So SGDQ 2021 online is July 4th to the 11th. Game submissions are closed, but the schedule releases on May 17th, and volunteer submissions are still open. They're open until April 23rd. So if you want to apply to be a host or audition to be a host, maybe help out with donations, do tech checks, stuff like that. If you want to apply for any of that, check out gamesdonequick.com for more information. And also, your deadline is April 23rd. And if you happened to enjoy the Sonic speedrun goodness that we had for you today, please be sure to tune in tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Time for Day 2 of Sonic and the Side Quest. You can check out the schedule with the schedule command just to see what we have in store. We're opening with a block of games that like were very not well critically received. Critically panned. There we go. There's actually a phrase for that. So like we've got 3D Blast, Sonic 06, and Sonic the Hedgehog GBA.
That's a treat.
All of which are like games that the fandom very often doesn't enjoy, but are fantastic speedruns. So definitely tune in for those. And we've got a whole lot of other things happening tomorrow as well, with an awesome closing run as well of Sonic Adventure Battle, Hero Story, All Emblems. That's going to be a really great run, and I'm really looking forward to that one. But still, we really appreciate you watching and supporting HOTFIX in general. So if you want to find out more information about that as well, check out gamesdonequick.com/hotfix, and you'll find all the info on our regular shows. This is a special event. We have regular weekly and bi-weekly. Check those. That's gonna be it for me for tonight. I'm going to bed. I am tired. I've been up since 6:30 a.m. It is just nearly 10 p.m. my time. So y'all take it easy. Have a great rest of your night. Stick around. We're gonna send you all to someone else who is speedrunning Sonic and give them all your power in that raid. Take it easy, y'all. Have a great night.